You started strong. Maybe it was a new morning routine, a workout habit, a project you finally begin. For a few days, everything clicked. You showed up. You felt proud. And then life happened. You got sick. Work got crazy. You just didn't feel like it? So you missed one day, and that quiet voice in your head said, well, there goes your streak. You couldn't stick with it. What's the point of starting again? So one missed day becomes two. Two becomes a week. And suddenly, that habit you were building? It's gone. Here's what I want you to know today. Missing one day didn't break your progress. How you responded to missing that day? That's what broke it. Welcome to Better Everyday Studio. I'm Alina. Today, we're talking about something every single person who tries to build a habit will face. What to do when you miss a day. Because you will miss days. That's not failure. That's being human. The question is, what happens next? Let's look at what's actually happening when you miss a day. Most people think consistency means perfection. They believe that if they miss even one day, they've failed. This is called all or nothing thinking, and it's one of the biggest traps in personal growth. Here's what James Clear writes in Atomic Habits. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. Think about that for a moment. One missed day? That's just life. That's being human. That's not a character flaw. But when you miss a second day, something shifts. You're no longer dealing with an accident. You're building a new pattern. The pattern of not doing the thing you wanted to do. The real danger isn't the single slip. It's the spiral that follows. Here's how the spiral works. You miss a day. You feel guilty. Guilt turns into negative self-talk. Negative self-talk convinces you that you've already failed. So, you skip another day. And another. Before you know it, you've turned one missed day into a missed week. And all because you believed one slip meant you were done. But here's the truth. The most consistent people in the world know. Consistency isn't about never missing. Consistency is about how quickly you come back. James Clear calls this the never miss twice rule. And it might be the most powerful habit rule you'll ever learn. Here's how it works. You're allowed to miss one day. Life happens. You get tired. Things come up. But you are not allowed to miss 2 days in a row. That's it. That's the whole rule. Not never miss. That's unrealistic. That's perfectionism disguised as discipline. Just never miss twice. Why is this so powerful? Because it gives you permission to be human while maintaining a boundary that protects your progress. When you know you're allowed to miss one day, the pressure lifts. You stop fearing failure. You stop treating every day like it's do or die. But when you also know you can't miss 2 days, you have a clear line that keeps you from falling into the spiral. Here's what James Clear says about this. This is a distinguishing feature between winners and losers. Anyone can have a bad performance, a bad workout, or a bad day at work. But when successful people fail, they rebound quickly. The breaking of a habit doesn't matter if the reclaiming of it is fast. In other words, it's not about whether you fall, it's about how fast you get back up. Let me share something that might change how you think about missed days. James Clear uses a powerful financial analogy. Imagine you have $100. If you gain 50%, you have $150. But if you lose 33%, you're back to $100. Here's the point. Avoiding a loss is just as valuable as achieving a gain. The same applies to your habits. Every day you show up, you build compound interest on your progress. Small gains stack on top of small gains. But when you miss a day, you're not just losing that day's progress. You're risking the entire compound growth you've built. As Charlie Munger says, the first rule of compounding, never interrupt it unnecessarily. This is why those bad days matter so much. When you're tired, when you don't feel like it, when you only have 5 minutes, showing up on those days doesn't feel heroic. It feels small, maybe even pointless. But here's what's actually happening. You're protecting the compound gains you've already built. You're maintaining the identity of someone who does the thing. And that identity, that's what makes consistency possible. So let's get practical. What do you actually do when you miss a day? I want to give you something called a bad day protocol. This is a simple plan you put in place before the bad day happens. Because if you wait until you've already missed a day, your brain is already in spiral mode. It's too late to think clearly, so create this now. Keep it somewhere you can see it. Here's what the bad day protocol looks like. Step 1. Run the minimum viable day. On days when energy is low, time is gone, and motivation is dead, you don't aim for your full habit. You aim for the smallest possible version. Your list should look like this. Show up for 5 to 10 minutes on the main task. Move your body for 5 minutes. Eat one decent meal. Drink water. That's it. You don't add. You don't optimize. You don't try to catch up. You just protect the chain. Step 2. Obey the return tomorrow rule. Here's the most important part. A bad day never requires a makeup day. No doubling up. No punishment. No heroic effort to compensate. The only rule is, tomorrow, you show up again at the minimum. Consistency is maintained by resuming, not by compensating. Step 3. Use the reset script. When you miss a day, your brain will want to spiral into guilt and self-criticism. Instead, say this to yourself. Today was a miss, not a failure. The rule is never miss twice. Tomorrow I return at the minimum. That's it. No long journaling session. No overthinking. Just acknowledge, reset, and move on. This approach isn't just common sense. It's backed by behavioral science. Researchers call this integrated recovery, planning ahead for slip-ups, so one missed day doesn't derail your entire effort. Here's how to build your own recovery plan. First, identify your crucial daily habits. Pick one action you want to do every day towards your goal. Not 10 things, just one. Second, anticipate your slip. Before you even start, think about what might cause you to miss a day. Sick child? Late meeting? Travel? Write it down. Third, write your recovery plan. Outline exactly what you'll do the next day to get back on track. No lecture, no guilt. Just a single action to resume. Fourth, set a reminder. Use your phone or calendar to send an alert that prompts you to resume immediately after your missed day. This kind of planning changes everything. Instead of panicking when life happens, you have a clear path forward. There's one more piece to this that most people overlook. When you miss a day, your first instinct is probably to criticize yourself. I'm so lazy. I can't stick with anything. Why do I always do this? But here's what the research shows. Self-criticism doesn't help you get back on track. It keeps you stuck. Guilt and shame don't motivate. They demoralize. They convince you that you're the kind of person who fails, so why bother trying again? Self-compassion, on the other hand, creates resilience. When you miss a day, instead of criticizing yourself, try this. I missed a day. That's okay. It happens to everyone. This doesn't mean I've failed. It means I'm human. What matters now is what I do next. This isn't letting yourself off the hook. It's giving yourself the grace to continue. Because here's the truth. You don't build habits by being perfect. You build them by being persistent. And persistence requires forgiveness. Let's bring this home with something you can do today. I want you to think about a habit you've been trying to build. Now, I want you to create your bad day protocol for that habit. Write down your minimum viable version. The 5-minute version of this habit. Your recovery plan. What will you do the day after you miss? Your reset script. 3 lines to say to yourself when you slip. Keep this somewhere you can see it. In your notes app. On a sticky note. Wherever works. And here's the most important part. The next time you miss a day, and you will, use this plan. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Right then. Because the moment after a miss is the most important moment in your habit journey. That's when you decide, will this be a slip? Or will this be the beginning of the end? There's a quote I love that sums this up perfectly. The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. James Clear wrote that. And he's right. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never miss. They're the ones who miss and come back. And miss and come back. Over and over. Because they know that consistency isn't a straight line. It's a path with detours, setbacks, and rest stops. And the only way to fail is to stop getting back on the path. So, today, I want to give you permission. Permission to miss a day. Permission to be imperfect. Permission to forgive yourself and start again. Because one missed day doesn't break your progress. But coming back after a missed day, that builds something stronger than any perfect streak ever could. It builds resilience, self-trust, and the quiet confidence that you can keep going no matter what. I'm Alina, and this is Better Everyday Studio. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, when you miss a day, just come back tomorrow. Small steps, lasting change. Next time, we're talking about something that affects all of us. How to protect your energy like your focus. Because you can't build anything if you're running on empty. You won't want to miss it. I'll see you in the next one.